right. So, everybody, uh, welcome to another edition of Ideal Me. I am your host, Lamar Whidbey, and today I have NCCU alum, uh, educator, principal, just man of wisdom and humor and so many. Rub it. There you go. Just so many amazing things to describe this gentleman, James Hopkins. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Whitney.
Definitely. So just getting straight to it. You've been an educator for how many years?
This is my 18th year in
Oh,
education.
are you serious?
That's why I have all this gray hair, full of, as you mentioned, wisdom and everything.
Okay. So going from being a what subjects did you teach?
Sure, yeah, I taught high school history, United States history, civics and economics, world religions, and just general world history when I was a teacher in the classroom.
Okay,
Back in
back in the day.
right.
Okay, so we go from teacher to principal, right? Just totally different positions within the realm of education, the school in itself. So why
The other side,
the other side, more paperwork?
right.
Why become a principal?
Yeah, so let me just first start by just sharing that I believe that public education is the most honest way to change this world.
Wow.
I think that um, I don't think all are accepted, all are welcome. You can have a disability, you can have speak a different language. Um, Public education welcomes everyone.
Okay.
So it's not that I am bashing or trying to say that private schools or charter schools or homeschool parents that decide to homeschool are bad, but I just want to bring attention to the sheer volume of um, responsibility that public schools have in serving everyone that enters the door. It is a law that if you enter a public school, you will be served. And so I got an education right out of college. We both played football at North Carolina Central University. We both played receiver. You probably had more touchdowns than me, and that's all good. No love lost. But yeah, so right out of college, I got into teaching um, because I had a really strong United States history teacher in my 11th grade year in high school. Her name was Miss McLaughlin,
Okay.
and I wanted to be like her. I wanted to share a version of history with minds that could absorb um, those very complex ideas. And I thoroughly enjoyed teaching, and I miss teaching. What brings me the most joy in my current role as a principal is going into classrooms and just watching kids look at their teacher as they teach.
Right.
Some have these very stoic faces. Some are very they seem bored, but I think those kids that are expressive, that are like my son, those are the types of expressions and experiences that I most value. So going from teacher to assistant principal or to assistant principal to principal was a really steep jump, um, and specifically, um, you are now someone supervising, like
Right.
you are responsible for adults.
Right.
And, I think that one of my strengths has been hiring really good people
Okay.
and inspiring those people to push beyond their limits. I believe that you know every educator has another gear.
Okay.
While we're operating in third gear, that fourth year is going to put you in position to be much more um, in tune with your kids, your staff, and your community. I have another gear, you have another gear. And so I'm currently transitioning to another school, opening another school, which has been really emotional. The last thing I'll just say quickly is, anytime you're transitioning as an administrator, you, you always feel like you could have done more, like you could have given more.
What I know, what would you give if you had to go back and change that?
Yeah, so yes. I think um I think I would try to employ more of my teachers' ideas. I would try to be a little bit more attentive to some parents. I think I would try to be more accessible to my family, my
Wow.
wife and my two kids. And the silver lining in all this, Lamar, is that I have that opportunity as I make this transition. Like I have all these things that I shoulda, coulda, would have done, and they don't just have to sit there. They can be actionable. And so my charge to myself is to ensure that this list that I've created is put into play as I transition to Lions Farm Elementary School.
To acknowledge that you could be more accessible to your faculty, to your family, that just taking yourself out of it, right, and just seeing how the importance, just viewing the importance of other people. I think that's what makes you perfect for your career, like that position. It's bigger than observing the world is bigger than yourself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think that over the course of the past 5 years since I've been at Lakewood, what has distinguished this school has been what we've employed in terms of this inclusive leadership.
Right.
Like there is not a top down, there's not a triangle approach to how the school is run. It is very much like a circle. It's very much, um, the goal is to make sure that everyone has a voice. Now, Lamar, that is really, it's taxing because when you're listening to everyone's opinions and you're trying to make the right decision, sometimes you're going to make decisions that disappoint those that had an opposite opinion. And so trying to democratize how decisions are made and verbally acknowledge the data, the findings, so that no one thinks that this one decision was made by this one person. No, we decided this together. And if we believe in the idea of democracy, then we want to make sure that we are sharing the results and moving in the direction by which the majority of the staff voted in many cases.
So, just I guess moving forward a bit, you're in charge of, or you facilitate a lot of, you facilitate the direction in which young minds go, right? So, how would you view when I say social emotional learning and these young minds that you work with every day, even the teachers that you work with, what does social emotional learning and mental health mean in your space?
It's everything. It is everything. And I wish I could stop there. And I know you want me to say more, and I will, but I want to just sit there for a second. Public education accepts every single person wherever they are in life, religion, whatever, right? Um, when you have such a melting pot of the different types of everything, um, there can't be a uniform way to address children. You got to meet kids where they are. You've heard that expression, right? Um, but I think, and I'm just going to go back to the challenge of public education is that because we accept everyone, and everyone's coming from so many different places, and we're not attracting this demographic or this social economic group. Everyone is at our feet. Um, there is a tremendous responsibility that we have to make sure that our kids are being served. And to be honest with you, Lamar, we don't have the capacity. I know that's a very unpopular thing to say, but no, we don't have the capacity to meet everyone's social emotional needs in terms of our students. We need more social workers. We need more school counselors. We need more teachers. Um, and I don't want to get political on you. Um, but if I could just say that our children and their social emotional profile, um, it's not being taken care of by our state.
Mm.
And I would I hope, I would wish that our General Assembly could not just step in a school for an hour and say they were there, right?
Right.
But come in for 2 weeks, 7:15 to 2:15, and sit and have one-on-one conversations with teachers, social workers, nurses, everyone,
Mm-hmm.
just so they can understand the weight of why it's so important to ensure that we have more counselors, we have more people accessible to students that are going through so much. I got off on a tangent there, but it's important. It's everything because kids can't learn if they don't feel like um, their most fundamental needs are being met,
Right.
and that's being comfortable in a different place other than home,
Mm.
if they have a home. And that's a whole nother conversation because we have a lot of students that are McKinney-Vento that are homeless, and so their SEL needs should always be prioritized, and many times they are. We just don't have the staff to be able to meet those needs.
You you talked about wanting to give more to different people around you. You talked about the accessibility to uh, just more counselors and that sort of thing. But looking directly at yourself, whether that be in the confines of a school, um, just being you, how would you, who or what is the ideal James Hopkins? Who is the ideal you?
I'm going to answer that question honestly, and
Please.
I'm not trying to be that guy. But the ideal James Isaiah Hopkins is the James Isaiah Hopkins speaking with you on December 11, 2021. I say that because while there are regrets and while there are things that I wish I could have done, there will always be those things. Um, there, you know, um, I'm a very, I'm a deeply grateful man. I'm very expressive. Um, I love people. I love watching people get encouraged. I love watching people fall in love. I love watching kids play. I love um, I love my wife, my kids, and I love God. And right now, that is, I think, the most ideal version of James. Um, yeah. And so now check this out. You ask me this question tomorrow, you'll have a completely different response. But right now in this moment, um, this is the most ideal version of me.
That is beautiful. That is
Appreciate
beautiful.
it.
I am I'm grateful for your insight, for what you're doing for our children, our community. Is there any place that the people can reach out to you, or like for more information, or do you have a?
Yeah. So the email is always preferable.
Okay.
My email address is james.hopkins at dpsnc.net.
Got you.
And yeah, that's the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. That's Ideal Me with James Hopkins and his luscious beard. Uh, that's a wrap.
Thank you, Lamar.
Thank you so much.